today's training, we are going to talk about website traffic analysis. So as you can see here, this is my website traffic tracking board. So, and this is just a template which I have taken. But in your case, your process can be different than any other organization. But when you say about a website, anything about tracking, right? Whether it can be website or Facebook or Twitter or anything related to traffic, you always have the data which is in form of, you have the months, and then you have the dates, and then you have all the parameters are nothing but the numbers. So as you can see, my board is divided into the groups. The groups are right now it's divided as a month, the month as a group, but that is okay. Even if you don't have these groups, that's fine. All we need is this date column, because we want to analyze data per month, right? So important is, if even if it is not divided by groups, that's fine. Only thing is that against each numbers we need to have these dates, and because that's how we are going to look at the data monthly, right? So only important column here is the month column, right? We are tracking all the traffics or all the parameters by month, right? So we need this. Monday will always understand the date column when we are looking at the graph. So that is why I have this date column, and then against that date I have all the parameters. So right now I have all these visits, the number of visits, the number of downloads, the mobile, if it is accessed via mobile, or if it is accessed via desktop, I have that combination. Also, if it is an organic search or a paid search, right? So I have these parameters, and these parameters can be like n number of parameters. I have just taken few, but whenever you are doing tracking, you may have some more, right? If you want to. So this is just for website, but this can be about Facebook clicks, or the Twitter clicks, or this can be about anything. I just want to show you how you can use these number columns and how you can analyze this data. So I hope it's clear. This board can be of any form. All we are looking at how to track these numbers, right? So assume that we have these data in one board. As I mentioned, the structure can be different, but important, we have the date column and we have some numbers against that. Once we have that, we can connect this board to, either you can have it on the board itself, just like this. I wanted to give you information. You can add n number of widgets right here. Okay, or you can have this standalone dashboard, which in this case it's here. So I have prepared this dashboard already, but some of the widgets I will be adding to show you how we are doing that. So right now, you know that all my data is in this board, right? So the source of truth is this board, and I want to project this data so that I can do some analysis. So right now and the Monday has the widgets which we can use for numbers, right? So this is the number widget I have used here. So this number widget will give you sum or average, or it can give you, it works with number columns only, and it can give you, if you are looking at, if you want to have the sum or average, right, you can choose that from here. But essentially it adds up whatever you are whatever function, it just uses that function and gives you the whole number. So right now I have used the sum of the numbers, because I wanted to see, let's say, all the visits or number of visits till now, right? So then I just use this number column, and then sum is by default, and it gives me this number, which is nothing but addition of all these visits. Okay, here also it gives you the sum, by the way, that it's always here. But then this is like group wise sum. Of course, if you have just one group, if you're not segregating this data, and you just have one group, January, February, March, and then so on, so definitely at the end of the group you will get this sum, right? But let's say if you have these groups, then the Monday doesn't give you the overall sum, you know that, right? So then, but we can use this number widget to get this overall sum. Okay, we can also use the average, as you can say, we can also use the average. Okay, so this is the average number of visits. Or you can, if you want to know that what's my, like in these months, what was my maximum visits per month, right? So then I can see, I can say that, oh, 2,900 was the maximum one. And if you want to see the minimum one in that particular one, I had 1,200. So for now, I've just used as a sum because this is overall visits I want to look at, right? Then similarly, you have the downloads. I'm going back to the board. So these were the number of visits on the website. Then on your website, you may have some form or article or PDF documents, right? You want to know, or a book, right? So you want to know how many were downloaded from there. So then you have these numbers coming up here. So you can use the similarly, you can use the sum, but when you're using that sum, so you see, you have to choose the appropriate column. So if you add a number widget, I just wanted to show you. By default, so you see, by default, Monday always gives you data. That's the beauty of Monday. It doesn't start from the scratch. It always give you some number, and then you have um, some trial and error to do. Okay, so from where this number is coming, all devices. So that's what it makes Monday user friendly. So you see now all devices gets by default selected. But if you are looking at the downloads, then definitely you don't want all devices, you want downloads. So then you will just select it, and that's it. So that is how actually I got my downloads. And then once you have your appropriate number selected, you can just rename this. Okay, so I'm going to delete this. Okay, so then you looked at visits, you looked at the downloads. Then there is some more data can be analyzed. It just, we can, I mean, it's better to have the sum of all the visits, all the downloads, but you have these data also, like mobile, how many were mobile and how many were desktop. So then the sum is not useful, right? So think of, so basically what you have to do is, you have to look at your data, and you have to visualize what you would like to see. I want to see now how many were mobile and how many were desktop. So, and then by per month, I want to see how that transitions. So basically, I want to see, so by looking at this data, I know that I want to see both these numbers and not just one column, but I want to look at both the columns. So now, then, of course, we need to use the number widget. Will always use, you can see here, it will always, if you select, it just adds up, right? So then that's not useful. We don't want that. So basically, I need a chart to see both my parameters and then segregation by month. So then I use the chart, and I added the chart widget. And what I did is, my x-axis, by default it will be date and month, because you have the date column. Monday is very smart in choosing the parameters, but you will definitely want to look at your x-axis and adjust if you want to. By default, it's always count items, by the way. If you are using Monday regularly, you will know that by default, it's most of the time it's count item. But now what we want to see is number of, you want to choose some parameter here, right? So then I chose this all devices. But what happened here, because I had x-axis and then date and then group by month, I can actually group by quarter two. You see, quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, quarter four. But for now, I want to see month, and then I have a date column, which is by default selected here. So what it has done is, it has actually sliced and diced your data by month, and you chose visits parameter, so it gave you visits, but it's visits by month. Okay, so in January, I had these many visitors. In February, I had these many, and so on. Similarly, for download by month. So I want to tell you one quick tip here. So let's say you did the, you put some logic and you came up with this chart, right? So then again, you don't have to use that, don't have to go into setting and use uh to spend some time on that. What you will do is, you just, because it's just visits by month, and this will be just download by month. So all you have to do is, by I mean logically, instead of all devices, you have to click only download. So what I have to do is just duplicate this widget. Okay, again you will get exactly duplication, right? Visit by month, visit by month. And then whatever you want to rename as, rename it. And then don't forget to adjust this in y-axis. Now instead of all devices, you need download. And similarly, let's say if you want to see the mobile hits, or if you want to see the, sorry, if you want to see mobile, or if you want to see desktop, the same logic goes. Okay. Okay. So now next one, I want to see also visits versus download. Now this one is a little tricky. Let's go into the settings here only. Let's go, because ultimately it's using the same thing. I want the data to be segregated by month, but I want visits also and downloads also for that particular month. So not that difficult. All we have to do is just one click. So now you see all devices, but you want to see both the parameters, right? So you just go on selecting how many parameters you want. That many it will come here. And then as you can see, it was all devices. It kind of comes also here, and it also color coordinates, by the way. Looks so beautiful. So that became my next graph, which is visit and download versus visit versus download by month. So now I have my January. So can you imagine, it's the same data we are looking at, right? But it's just by one click, you are making these different beautiful charts, right? So this is for January, and you can see the differences also, right? How many, so you can clearly see here that uh, the visitors, so downloads are definitely lesser than the visitors. Okay, so that's now another one. So this was the bar chart I've used. Now I want to see, I also want to see, so this is desktop and mobile visitors, right? So many, so out of these visits, how many accessed from mobile and how many was desktop, right? So I want to see that data too. So then, of course, you can use bar chart for this, but I just thought of using the line chart. So the same logic, but if you go into the settings, now instead of these bar chart here, I've used this smooth line chart. I can use this too. This is the line chart, and but if you want to smooth line chart, you can use this. And now x-axis remains same, because I still want that January, February segregated by month. But in my y-axis now, I want to see mobile, I want to see desktop. So clearly my mobile access visitors are lesser than my desktop, right? In every month you can see that trend. And then these are my overall all devices. If you don't want to see all devices, because it's nothing but the same, if the addition of these can be all devices, right? But if you want that for references, so these basically, these are all devices out. So this is giving you the nice chart here for the analysis. Now, so that was my line chart I wanted to give you. Now also, let's say, so this is, we are in the month of November, right? And the data can be from January, February, March, April. But and then your marketing strategies do keep changing, right? So you want to see, you ran some campaign and you want to see the effectiveness of that campaign. So you don't want to see all these data from January, but you just ran that campaign somewhere in quarter 3. So you want to see the, if because results, you're going to get the results in the following quarter, right, or in that quarter. So you want to see this chart, but only last 3 months, right? You are in November, but you want to see the effectiveness of whatever campaign you ran in last 3 months. So that's like dynamic, because you, all you have is your data, the dates, but you want to, so if you are in November, you want to see from, you see that from September, October, November. If you are December, so that is why I said it's dynamic, because you want to see last 3 months, right? So don't worry, Monday have these beautiful feature, which is filters. So I'll come to this filter later, but I'll just explain you what this chart is, okay, before going to the filter. So the chart I have used is the same chart, only thing is it's the bar chart, right? It's the same bar chart, but I wanted to show you how you can use these this way bar chart too, right? Of this is sometimes the horizontal data becomes easier for visualization, also the analysis. So that is why I chose this one rather than the vertical bar chart. I wanted to show you this, so that is why I used it. You can use the vertical bar chart too. It's the same thing, same data. Okay, so I use this, and then x-axis, the same thing actually, disaggregated by month, and the y-axis, because you want to see total visits. So I just clicked this, right? All visits. So actually, yeah. So actually, if you can see, this is the exactly same visits by month chart. But then you'll see how it's showing me last 3 months, right? And of course, I have used it horizontally. If I don't use this, so you can see here, so this one, this is showing that I have used some filter here. If I don't use the filter, it will give me exactly this chart. So what I'm saying is, if you are used to Monday, then you will definitely know by looking at it, oh, I just have to duplicate this. But of course, this will take some time. I just have to duplicate this and add my filter. So I've showed you how we have used that filter, how we have done the settings, right? The months and the all devices. And then because we want last 3 months, so I use the filter condition. I went to the switch to advanced filter. I really like advanced filters because you can see everything is, you can actually, this is like a writing a statement, right? And if not, quick filters are like, you'll have to literally search and go through everything. So I like advanced filter. Just that you should know how to read this. So when, and then you have these parameters, sorry, where, and then you are mentioning these parameters, right? So this is my condition, and I know that date is, so this, assume that this is empty, right? Assume that this is empty. Whenever you will choose a date, it will come here. So this will be empty, right? But you know that it's in the past. You want the last 3 months, right? So then you have this condition here, date is in the last, and it also gives you ability, because you said last, right? So it gives you availability in the number and also the days. Now in our case, we want a month. You can see last week's also, by the way, but we want to see months, right? So, and not 1 month, but we want to do 3 months. And then you have to save these filters. If you know Monday, I know you are not used to save your data because everything happens automatically. The only thing, only case where you goes on saving monday.com, where whenever you use filter, you have to save it. Otherwise, next time you're going to go there, your filter is gone, and then you'll wonder, hey, what happened? Did I have done that? So always when you're using filters, and that's why there is an option here, and save. Once you save it, your filters are saved. So now beautifully it will give you the last 3 months data. Yeah. If you want last 2 months, then it will just give you 2 months or 1 month, right? or in the last 6 months, then it will go on increasing. Okay, so let's say that this you're not tracking it. So these groups are just for our simplicity. I have this Jan 23, Feb 23, March 23. So imagine if you have just one group of year 2023, and in this you have your all the months, right? So that means in 2023 you're going to have January 2023, February 2023, and all the months, right? And you'll have appropriate date. But then this group can be 2022, right? Because you are doing that analysis for last 3 years or last 2 years, just for the comparison. So then your board structure is changed. So imagine that your board structure is like that. So then in that case, your filter will also be changed, right? So then if you want to see for last 11 months, then definitely you're going to say that here, last 11 months. Or simply what you will say, my group is 2023. That's it. So depending on your group's the board structure, you are going to use these filters and conditions wisely. So I also have, I hope this will be useful, because many of the time you have some number columns, and then when it comes to chart on other parameters, it's a little bit tricky to create this graph, but Monday makes it so easy and very user friendly actually, because um, anything you are changing, you can see right there, right? When you're using Monday charts. Also, I have these organic search and the paid search um, parameters, right? I have not used that in the chart yet, but let's see how I can do that, because I wanted to do it with you. So I just wanted to see how their analysis is, because definitely if I'm getting more number of hits through the organic search, then definitely, or paid search, then I will know if I have to spend some budget on my paid search, right? So then that data will be useful if you are able to do that analysis. So let's just add that chart. Now you see, by default I just added chart. By default, Monday came up because there's a date column. It kind of took that into consideration and assumed that we are interested in this. But this time we are not. So we are going to change that. So let's see what we want to do here. Let's keep that as it is. And so now you saw how I changed this in a second, right? Just a few clicks. I just changed my chart type. Let's say I want to still see my data segregated by month. So I kept my x-axis as it is. Only thing y-axis I changed to organic search and the paid search. And now I can clearly see the trend. So this is like an analysis, like trend analysis I'm doing here. So I can clearly see here that my organic search was it was actually, my paid search has always been, when I started it, it kind of lesser than my organic search, but after a while it took you see upward trend, and then after, actually always my or paid search is more than my organic search. So sometimes I know the numbers are already here, and you can clearly look at the numbers and do that analysis. But sometimes, so by just looking at this data, it's so easy to do this analysis, right? This, and then making the graph is also not that difficult. So that is why I thought of taking these for today's topic. I hope it's useful.